Peace, peace, peace. Peace and goodies to all. I look like I'm just so relaxed right now because I am, but I just want to share this brief message with you all upon your journey. For those of you who aren't aware, but let's get right into it. I think I was around the age 5 or 6 where I was had a traumatic experience. And this is right around the time where I was, it's like I was forced to be, it's almost like not only being a parent or guardian for myself, but I was forced in a way, karmically, through my experiences, my upbringing, to be like a father when I was young. So having to, see the mother that I came through go through a lot of traumatic experiences, or her spiritual warfare with drugs. I remember watching 3 little toddlers, and I was probably only 6 or 7. And basically how that little story is, like, my mom and the lady she was with, I would go to this home, and where her friend's home, and this is the same woman who pretty much, and people don't really talk about this, but spiritual warfare, in the sense of like entities and spirits, can not only just happen when you touch people, because you don't know what they're battling with. So as much as we think this is a physical thing, it's also spiritual. So this is the same woman that the kids that I would watch is the same woman that I would that used to come around and pretty much force herself on me in a way of like groping me in a way, or touching me in what I see now as a more inappropriate way as a child. It was like forcefully. And my mom, and this is like after 30 something years, my mom came out and told me something that, again, I didn't even have knowledge of at the time, but she told me like how that specific lady kissed me one day, and my face broke out. My face broke out into, like, I don't even know, it could be many things, because your mind can wonder, but it could have been herpes, if we want to really go that far, or it just could have been an allergic reaction to something. And not knowing, not what this person has went through. And so, even with that, the message that I'm getting to is like, after doing my stretches, you want me to say, okay, hi, Aaliyah. Okay, yeah, I'm doing a video right now. Yeah, Aaliyah just gave me the phone, so yeah, I'm gonna hand Aaliyah the phone, and I'm gonna finish my video. Okay, it was an honor, a pleasure to talking to you. Yeah. You want to talk to Aaliyah? Okay. All right. Love you too. See you later. All right. They want to talk to you. Yeah. So, getting back to what I was saying. So after those that aren't familiar, but when you're doing when you're doing yoga, or yogi, some may call it. When you're doing yoga or yogi, we don't realize how much. Okay. Dad, you doing a video, okay? Okay. So after after doing this early stretch, what I realized is that, going back to how all of that correlates and connects, is that the same place where I was hit by the car is the same location where a lot of these traumatic things I experienced. So that being said, a lot of trauma is stored in our hips. So where I'm getting to is that when I did a lot of these stretches, I realized how much trauma in the cells in the body actually come up. You know, these blockages. And if those of you that are familiar with the chakra system, it'll show these areas where specifically you can do your own research. And I do not proclaim to be, you know, any professions or anything. This is just from based on my own experience and my own awareness consciously, physically, mentally, spiritually. So that being said, I realized. So that being said, I realized how when I did get into the car wreck event, I was hit on a bicycle, and I went as high as a power line. So when I came down, I realized how I came down altered my spine, alter my hips, alter a lot of things in my body. So that being said, those things connected to that trauma and those experiences. Okay, Daddy, you doing a video? Is it okay for me to talk to him after? Okay. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, Daddy doing a video. Okay, that one. So, so a lot of the self-realization again when these. Okay, baby. So when this trauma is coming up, being resurfaced or coming out, the trauma is stored in the body. So these things are coming up from these areas, whether it be the root chakra, which a lot of fear, survival, a lot of things dealing with stability. So a lot of these specific areas are rooted, these traumas, these tissues, when you take the T off, there's issues. So a lot of these things are in these areas where over time, through years, through the process of experience, have been stored like a storage, literally memories that we think that we just brush up under the rug, and in reality, we are carrying it genetically, ancestrally. And again, after doing these stretches, you can feel an immense relaxation and a letting go or the tension. And these are where the blockages are specifically, and not realizing sometimes a certain memory will surface or a certain thing will come up. And a lot of which for me, sometimes like that blockages is like blood not getting there. I don't think if people are aware of that, but this is where blood clots or certain disease or discomfort in the body, specifically an area, could be something pertaining to a blockage, spiritually, mentally, physically, emotionally. All of these things, if you do more research on this, for those that have their awareness, if it doesn't resonate, do not make it fit. It's like a puzzle piece. It's like don't make it fit if it doesn't fit your narrative. But a lot of us are at that awareness where these things, from my experience, I realized that the shadow aspect. Be careful, baby. The shadow aspect and the unhealed aspect allows these things to surface, because we're so hard on ourselves with these things, and I realize it's a process. It's just as we process the emotion, the experience, mentally, physically, emotionally, these things don't just go away. A lot of things I didn't become aware of. Let me see that, baby. Let me see that. That stone. Let me see that stone. Right here. Let Daddy see that. It's right here. Here you go. You can keep that, okay? This is something Daddy, we don't want this to break. And it's funny, that's a specific stone. But a lot of these things that do come up, You want to color? Or you gonna cook? Okay. So a lot of these things again, even being that whether we have kids or whether we are experiencing something, these things still are apparent that we cannot ignore. That when we come to the self-realization, that baby, let me see this. This is, you can't play with that, baby. Daddy got to keep that right here, okay? Okay, thank you. Appreciate you. I got to put this right here, okay? I know, baby, but okay. So again, even relating to that, even being at my age, which age and time and a lot of stuff is just simply illusion, a lot of things, even in our adult, I don't even like the term adulthood, just our experience and just in this moment, whether past or present, literally our past prepares us for these very moments. Literally my experience prepared me to express this. So, and then this helps aid me in my own healing. And then when I see a reflection or co-creation, the princess, seeing how the innocence of who she is, the emotionally, her coming, and this is the thing we don't talk about, discuss a lot, but her coming into her own, learning her emotions, learning her body, learning her everything, and we're no different, because even though we're at these ages, does not mean that we're still not unlearning, because I'm unlearning. She's in relearning and reteaching myself. She's also at that moment where, through my own wounding, through my own awareness, I'm unlearning the shadow aspect, the projections of the projections of my mother, father, or whatever people in my life. I'm unlearning the dysfunctionality. I'm letting go, or some may say release, but I'm letting go of the traumas that have been stored that's connected to those memories. So I'm recovering my energetic body that was more at ease. So a lot of this, we don't realize that in our mother's womb, whatever unease or dis-ease or discomfort she was feeling, and then now that we're at this younger age, which she helps reflect and mirror back to me, is that there are moments where these traumas come up. There are moments where these things resurface. And the healing journey in itself is a lifelong journey. It is a process. I'm not going to sit here and act like I have it all together. No, it's a process for myself, for her mother, anyone. It's just, I would just tell people, like, I had to learn not to even beat myself up. Be careful, love. Watch your head right here. And even in that, okay, daddy, okay, put it right here. Would you like to, okay, I'm not, it's even the approach. So again, a lot of this has helped mirroring back, and even her presence helps me recover my own childhood innocence. What am I saying? Is that she's just being the best version of who she is. A lot of us are trying to recover the best versions of ourselves that were attacked. Okay, that were attacked and projected on, and of others' fears, of their own trauma. And so imagine trying to unlearn these things, and now daddy doing the video, okay? You want me to turn something on in your room? You want to watch a movie in your room? Yes. Okay, I'll come in there and turn something on. One moment. You want to watch Baby Shark? Let me see. Baby, you can. That, I'll leave. You Okay, baby. Anywho, let me tell y'all something. When I say so much emotions, this is so much of a learning experience. I mean, from even just not just speaking about trauma. One thing I realized is that for those of you that don't know, whether your son or daughter, this is literally like you creating a feminine version of myself. She has both masculine and feminine energies or principles, but it's like me literally from where I was in meeting her mother, coming together wherever we were consciously, mentally, spiritually. You're coming together. And some of us and this is what a lot of, I feel like these divine unions or partnerships that people who aren't aware or in tune, but are going to highlight so much of how we honor our shadow, honor our darkness, and how we bring it to the light. So that being said, the emotional intelligence comes from this is facing your shadow. Some of us could have emotionally unavailable guardians, or some may say parents, but that in itself is a gateway for your emotional baggage to let go of the burdens of others, to become more emotionally in tune, to help aid you is a gateway to honoring your emotions. So karmically, we like to give this, this negative connotation, or just this aspect of how these things can have bad or good, and it's energetically. So again, her being a feminine aspect of where I was consciously literally mirrors back to me all the unhealed things, which the feminine aspect is the darkness or the negative. And I tell people the polarity of things is more, when you look at a battery post, you have negative and positive. So that being said, she literally mirrors back to me the dark aspect or the emotional aspect or all things that are hidden. It's like the moon aspect of all things that are hidden. So it brings to light to me what is not only unhealed, but the things that I can no longer hide from in myself. So in her innocence and her just becoming and being, a lot of which a lot of us have suffered from, is that it highlights what we too have experienced traumatically, what we too have accepted, and how it is that what triggers or what bothers us or what makes us feel, or how could I say this, literally reflecting back everything that is hidden, that is dormant, that is stored, and needs to be restored. It's like that it's an expiration date, or it's like things that have expired within us, things that are like dying away, things that are rotten, that we need to, move or remove or restore. So these things actually, it's so beautiful and divine that I realized that I had to get to this awareness of why it is that, her and her mother and I connected. Okay, what did we come here to clear karmically for myself? So I express to my partner sometimes, I'm like, hey, sometimes it really highlights the fact of what I can no longer hide emotionally. And Aliyah really reflects back to me why it is I'm selected to help aid the healing aspect of what a divine masculine is, because I know what it was, because I was in that position to be a distorted masculine or a wounded masculine because of what I experienced from a wounded mother or wounded women. And then now she is a reflection, because who she is and what she embodies is a divine mother or divine feminine. She's from the divine, and a lot of us don't have this awareness or coming into this awakening or awareness of why it is our kids or who we co-created with is literally an aspect or an aid or a catalyst into, whether it be your mother or father, all of them were literally a catalyst into um, you becoming and evolving. See, if society has deemed women to and devalued them in every way, no matter what culture or creed, to not really see who they are inside, and even if their focus is so much externally, what they look like externally outside, then it creates a blockage emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, from them really coming into their own power, or that essence being restored, them coming into the knowing that they are limitless outside of what you look like, outside of the vessel that you're in. And so this is what a lot of awakening is happening within ourselves as men and both women, to see that there is no separation. When I see Aaliyah, there is no separation energetically, in a sense of she has her own individual path just like I do. But a lot of what we don't realize is that my perception and her perception, anyone else's perception of the world, this experience is completely different. But that doesn't the disconnect really comes from when people haven't really connected with their shadow or with who they're running from, which is themselves. And so in that reconnecting with source or the divine, it allows us to now see that a lot of external things have kept us from really internalizing and running from our inner essence, our inner child, the light within. And the only way to see that is that you have to maneuver through the darkness. So again, it's it's certain moments where I catch myself like, well, why am I bothered by she's expressing her emotions? Meaning that sometimes we may call it whining, a child whining. But think about, before you could speak, before you can utter a word, you cried, you whined. So I see that no differently. And really that's just that cry out is literally just, hey, something's going on. I'm not liking what I see. I'm not liking what I feel, or I'm feeling something. And I've had to catch myself because as a father, and this is accountability, what a part of me wants to shun her? What a part of me wants to not allow her to express it? What a part of me that it is making me feel unease to where she shouldn't have to express herself? See, a lot of this I'm learning is a fact of, it reflects back to my own wounding when I was a child, to where I was told certain things to devalue or to castrate or to dim my own light by those who didn't see their own light. Yes. So I don't beat myself up over it, but I'm immediately feel, those of you that are empaths or in tune, you immediately naturally pick up on the energy like, this doesn't feel well, or my intuition or my spirit of discernment is saying this. But you have to realize we've been so far and disconnected from source or the creator, to where we've been going against everything that we were supposed to listen to. Women, your intuition. Men who are also in tune. We are very sensitive, just like you are. We literally are just a light reflecting everything that you can no longer hide. And also, women, you are that spiritual aspect of the darkness, which is the connected to the moon, the emotion, everything that cannot be hidden. So literally, when you're meeting people, don't matter who they are, their age or whatever, they are literally energetically feminine and masculine principle. So whether it's their emotions, that emotion has to come up from somewhere to which is the feminine, and be operated outwardly as masculine. They're not separate. So it's no different when you look at woman and man. As much as we want to separate ourselves, we're so much connected that we don't even realize in our minds, in our ego, the mind wants to disconnect. The mind wants to separate. But we're so in tune and so connected that the oneness of everything, there is no disconnect. So my partner, her mother, and I at that moment like mirror back so many things karmically, and this is what you see in all of your relationships, in really are versions of yourself. She is a version of me that's teaching me to embrace me again, to embrace my emotions, to honor who I am. That literally is because we're birthed from water, so that feminine energy is literally birthing anew. It's like a rebirth. Water is transformation. So I'm literally allowing my emotions to cleanse that aspect of who I am. Surrendering to the water, surrendering to the moment. Because naturally, you know, as women and men can more master logic in a way because we're naturally, I expressed this to my partner. I was like, I naturally reflect on the past and to be able to prepare and lay down or prepare structurally building blocks for the future. That doesn't mean that I'm not present. No, a lot of which as men, we actually help each other stay grounded. And through our logic, we actually help women be more grounded. So it's nothing to take away from someone. That's solely based on your experience. Because some of us grew up in environments where it was so much of someone coming in, taking, or this, people who have been victimized by physical, mental, verbal, emotional abuse. And a part of us was, our essence, or our these fragments of ourselves we have left or has been discarded, and we left them in places like aspects of ourselves. So it's like departing from a relationship or leaving something. We left a part of ourselves there, whether it be emotionally, whether we open ourselves up like women with their womb. When you open yourself up, you're opening everything about yourself to someone. And so people that, this can be a little graphic. If you have to click off, I respectfully understand and overstand. But imagine people who did not have that awareness to actually experience a sensual or, sex in an intimate way. They are likely to be in relationships where they're engaging, where that is more of, it's not a recovering. They're wanting to recover subconsciously from it and heal through it, but sometimes the opposite of that can be engaging with multiple partners, engaging with so many other people to where they're looking for some type of fulfillment. So this can happen emotionally, mentally, spiritually, physically, all connected. So in that way, in that aspect, we haven't been taught to heal that. School didn't. School, your teachers, your mother and father, society hasn't taught us. So a lot of us, you as being healers, you are being shadow workers, whatever you want to, these terms that you want to proclaim or use. It's not to discredit what you are, who you are, but again, everyone is a version of you to teach you about you, to return to you, because in this process, you are recovering. You are trying to recover that aspect of yourself that seem or you deem lost. So this is why you hear the term lost souls, because you have a lot of people who are out here. It doesn't matter how much money they have. It doesn't matter what they have or what they've obtained or, or what they hoard. How and where are you doing it from? And sometimes unconsciously, we're not even aware of it until these things are removed, until there is a shaking up in our reality, because we've been feeding an illusion, or we've been fed an illusion, and we've been, fueling the illusion. And then when someone comes along in your life and we deem them as karmic, everyone has been a karmic. because that karma is actually an aid to prepare you for your dharma path or your dharmic path. So literally give gratitude. I've learned to give gratitude to um, learning to love how people express themselves, because it don't matter their age and how big they are. I'm like, wow, I can really see the shadow or the insecurities or the woundings, because I was too there. So it lets me and allow me to have a place of compassion. So how many of us know how to solely focus on ourselves rather than more so trying to help other people fix their life? And then now you know how selfish it can be when you're just trying to show up for you and be there for you. It even helped. I'm telling you, like, I had to tell my partner, I had to express to her, like, a lot of people don't know this, but I will recommend whatever partnership or union that you're in, because the most important union or relationship is with you first, but we haven't been shown that. So a lot of us are here to show the world that by, if the world, if we've been taught to help, 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 because your kids, we were all affected by this. Help, help, help. It's not to say don't be of service to others, but you can give, but you also got to give to you. You're a plant. You're a tree. You also got to water. You are the seeds. We are the seeds from our mothers. Our father carries the seed, but in the sense of, like, we are the future fruits of the world. We are the future, and we have to, the thing about, we were out the other day and this lady came up, and it's crazy. People will say this shit, and I was like, oh no, you don't. I have got to a place where when people say stuff, I don't subscribe or accept it. They see Ali and they'll be like, oh hey, oh my gosh, she's so adorable, she's so cute, and someone says like, oh my gosh, she's so rotten. And I'm like, no, she's not. She's prosperous. Ask me why I say that. Because words are powerful. And what you learn to do in the third grade, spell. So a lot of things people don't realize magically, spiritually, is very important what you say and how you say it. Because a lot of people can say things with their mouth, but it's the intention behind it. A lot of people can give you stuff, but it's the intention behind it. So going back to that, I go back to my childhood and how I was spoken to, how I was yelled at. And so if I see myself, visualize yourself as a plant, as a seed. So you are a seed that came to this earth realm. You came and you were planted. You were planted in these areas in the world. And notice how consciously, or the awareness of who has been watering you. So your responsibility for a lot of us here as healers, as shadow workers, is like, we supposed to counter the bullshit that has been told to us. That's a challenge, because some of the people who have lived in dysfunctionality, imbalance, and misery so long that their programming is simply just that. And so when you start to break free from that and liberate yourself and break generational chains and curses, you are the one that your star seed has chosen. You didn't choose this. We didn't choose this. It may seem that way, but in actuality, did we can say we chose this, but in a sense, it's like the free will is like, you can also choose to be happy or choose to be joyful, choose to heal, choose to acknowledge your shadow. It's a choosing in that. It's the awareness in that, and it's a great responsibility that comes with that, because it's a challenge in clearing karma and preparing the future generations to also stand in their truth, to honor self-love, to honor self-care, to honor their emotions, to be authentic. And see, we're recovering those fragmentations of ourselves that, that we allow others to trample all over, walk all over us. And as you start to stand in your power, these same people who proclaim to love you, you begin to see their woundings, because you've seen your woundings and you had to tend to your own woundings. And you see that they're not doing it. That is the catalyst. That is the beauty and growth. That is the awareness to how it is that what we're here to do as new earth beings, or those who came in a higher level of awareness, a higher level of consciousness. And your kids will reflect that too. You know, I grew up in environments where when I would try to be and be myself, it was shunned upon. It's, you have to realize these people are so wounded that they didn't see the light, so they will literally smother, or or immediately try to cast down your dreams or what you came here to do. So your awakening can come in layers, or come into where you go through a grieving stage to where you have to literally let these people go. And it's a process. It isn't easy. And you know that can be very challenging for a lot of people who have been around these people so codependently, so emotionally dependable on these people who have been a resource in their life. So in that, this is one of the greatest challenges. I watched the Avatar, and the Avatar speaks about this, is that the guru is showing Aang how the river. You can research this, the river episode, where the rocks were representing and the sticks were representing certain blockages in the chakra. And again, you can research this. It's not trying to convince people to be what I'm doing, or how it is. This is my reality. So if it doesn't resonate, feel peace and blessings to you. But anywho, the episode is so vital because he talks about how certain blockages or certain things have to be removed to gain this enlightenment, this awareness, this insight of what it is you're here to do. And one of the greatest lessons was, I believe he got to, like, they call it some may say the star or the crown, or this awareness of being in his greatest detachment or lesson was people he loved. And he had love, I think it's Katana. He had love, he had grown, his love for her had grown so much. And we don't even realize is that. And I can see why a lot of naturally women master emotion so much, to where through their imbalance emotionally, they become emotionally attached to the pain. And you will see this play out through people's shadow. You will see the emotional attachment to the idea of what their daughters or their kids should be, because they don't know what it is to be themselves. So in that attachment becomes suffering, and they create realities or their experiences. They only see suffering. They don't see liberation. They don't see the awareness of detaching from the fact that nothing here you can take with you. Your kids were given to you. The higher power, everything was given to us for experience. But when you leave this fucking body and depart, none of this you can take with you. So everyone doesn't speak and have this awareness. So in that, the episode with Aang talks about how, he couldn't let go. So I'm telling you, when you research it and look at the video, it's so powerful, because that was one of my greatest lessons, because you can experience people. Of course, it's natural to have to grow for that emotional connection. And I feel like this is what a lot of us are detaching from, and, the spells, the illusion that a lot of people were under, and now we're overcoming, we're rising into our own divinity, into our own power, and recovering these fragmentations and aspects of ourselves through healing the shadow, through healing the pain, through receiving the gain. Because if we don't let go of the versions of ourselves that our parents, or that these people or society, or let go of that aspect in our mind and our body, that memory, if we don't let go of this, then unconsciously and consciously we will live out this reality or this experience that really is not authentic. It will be inauthentic, because we're really not being ourselves, because we're being something for someone else. I don't care what the title is, the career. This is not discredit what you're doing, because that's your experience. It's a part of that. But when we're talking about sovereignty and coming into your own, your birthright is to simply be who it is be limitless, be abundant, be prosperous. That looks different for everybody, because you can have a conversation with someone who just talks about money, and that lets me know that they're spiritually poor or lack the awareness that that isn't just what you're here to do and what you're here to obtain or receive. Um, Again, this is some of the greatest lessons here, because we all came. That's what karma is can you learn the lesson? What is this teaching me? What is this teaching me, and how can I become a better me? And when you see these societal structures that's dismantling the foundation because they were built upon, really, I give gratitude, because had it not been created, I wouldn't have been here. Had it not been created, simply just for it to be dismantled, to be something to be restored and recreated. So as much as, like, give gratitude to this fucked up society and this stuff that try to keep us, like, I'd be like, bravo, like, try to keep us so much from ourselves. In actuality, I'll give you this analogy before I go. It's like the placenta. The placenta in itself is like the tree of life, but it's like that placenta that's created with the baby, that placenta helps aid the mother. Both, that child is dependent so much solely on the placenta, in a way that the stem cells and a lot of those things help heal the mother. They both help aid. They're not apart, and there's tubes in the placenta that helps fertilize, cleanse, and helps aid both the child and the mother in each other's healing, dis-ease, discomfort, birthing process. So that's the thing. Like, the same thing with life. It's like we have to have this experience now to help aid and become and be rebirthed and be born again, spiritually, metaphorically, so that we see the old being dismantled. We're seeing the outdated, expired. That's an expiration date on. Like, look at your life. Why wouldn't there want to be an expiration date on dysfunctionality, or all these things that we realize that doesn't resonate with us anymore? So there is an expiration date on what no longer serves you. It doesn't matter who it is. It's just, can you see the lesson? Can you be ready to go higher, to experience a life that's harmonious, peaceful, abundant, prosperous? However that looks to you, does it really reflect authenticity? Does it really reflect divine love, truth? Is it really being true to you? Because that could look different for someone. Whether someone chooses to live in an RV or trailer, that's abundance to them. As long as there's love in the home, they're loving themselves. Or someone simply wants to travel the world, be a nomad, and it looks different for everyone. But are you being truthful with you? So there's a lot more to depth that I'll share about this, but breathe and see the beauty in how. Can you see the beauty in how that from your darkness you're emerging and blossoming, you're blooming wildly, as someone would say, and not get so caught up in how it's supposed to look, because no one really knows how big a tree is going to be. No one really knows what that tree is going to produce. There's just so many things that go in with that. Just know that you count, you matter. We need you. I need you. You are vital in these moments. And for those of you that are battling and going through your own spiritual warfare, it's okay to surrender. because sometimes the greatest fear is of the unknown. And allow Source, the Creator, to embrace you, because I know a lot of us haven't been embraced or have been received. And so it's a challenge in trying to be there for ourselves now. But it's a process. Be patient with yourself. It's okay. You know, it's not as easy as it may seem, just because we see people living an inauthentic life. So a lot of it is being exposed, and you know, you're seeing the delusion you were living in, and seeing the illusion that these people were casting or portraying. And now, in the reality of it, now you got to face you, because no one else can be a better you than you. Peace and blessing. Shalom.